are Metasource Games. I'm Robert Trusardi.
And I'm Joshua Aridhall Cantrell. We believe in scarcity-based gaming and the power of player ownership.
We are a small team focused on becoming #1 in blockchain and metaverse gaming. So get ready and take a ride with us through the Metasource.
Hello. Welcome everybody to Through the Metasource, episode number 10. I can't believe we're up to 10. Like, how did that happen? But welcome everyone. I am Robert Trusardi, the creator of Metasource Games and Castles. Joshua, this other guy over here is my full business partner.
This other
in
guy.
Metasource Games. This other guy. He's my full business partner, and together we make Metasource Games and Castles really super awesome. So welcome, guys. Welcome. We're going to be taking questions about our free-to-play mode that we just announced. I guess first we'll kind of go over some details about how that's going to work. And then you guys can ask us some questions about banquet mode, the free-to-play mode that we're releasing. You can ask us questions about dungeons. You can ask me how's my trip at NFT Expoverse, and what I had for lunch. Whatever you guys want to ask, go ahead. It'll be fun. But really good to see you guys. Good to see you. Victor was in here posting really early on. Good to see you, Victor, who's our business, our partner in making the game. He owns Apex NFT Brazil. They build our smart contracts, our website. They do really awesome. Someone was just telling me the other day, a player that he really doesn't experience any issues, and that basically playing our games like butter, really no bugs or anything like that, and he loves it. And so they're the guys that you thank for making that happen, Victor and his team. So Warrior Lion Game is here. He says, hello, everyone. Julian M. Good to see you, Julian. Julian is one of our moderators, and when we were basically getting some feedback from our mods about the free-to-play mode, we were like, well, what do we call, the packs, all this stuff? And he's like, I like Banquet. Banquet is kind of like, basically rich sounding. So we were like, oh, you're right. Like, let's call it Banquet mode. So you guys can thank Julian for the name of the Royal Banquet and Banquet Coin, which is what you'll be earning in the free-to-play version. James Zanage, good to see you. Mark777, Ilya, Warcry, good to see you guys. Rick B, Dwayne Martinez, Vish G. He's asking, is a lumberjack burning event this month? We haven't discussed it. I would think probably not. But Josh is shaking his head. Yes, I don't know what that means. we'll see. I'm not sure if it's really necessary.
I'm just agreeing with you. I can't see myself. My StreamYard is being weird.
So, really?
I can't. I can see you fine, but I can't see myself, so it's very unsettling. But you can see me okay?
You're disembodied you. You are real. I do exist. I do see you.
Okay. All right. Yeah. That's weird. I don't know why I'm having weird issues, but okay.
Yeah. Well, we can see them all, right, guys? Let Josh know he's real.
Yeah, everybody can see me, I guess. Well, on my screen, I'll have to take a screenshot or something. On my screen, I'm just a little loading wheel of death.
That's got to be unnerving. Joshua, I'm sorry. Let's see. James Nage says, "What did you both eat for breakfast today?" I didn't have anything to eat for breakfast. I had a lot of water.
I had a fried egg and toast.
Ooh, nice. Alexandra Ignacio says, hey guys. Uber says, hello guys. Crypto AI says, oops, wrong account. But Debbie Metal says, we can hear you just fine. We can see and hear you just fine. Awesome.
You see the Royal Courthouse behind me? I was trying to update it, and that's why I put the courthouse background. I like that one. So
I see the courthouse. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, that's what I was swapping backgrounds, and then I got stuck somehow. So I don't know. It's probably just on my end.
All right. Nice. Well, welcome guys. Why don't I go ahead and share sort of what the mode looks like. So let's go ahead and share. Where is it? Here we go. All right. So can you see this, Josh?
Yeah. I see everything you're doing just fine. It's just myself.
Just you. I understand.
Weird.
I'm sorry. It's weird. This is basically a very basic mock-up of what banquet mode looks like. So this is just what I threw together to show everybody, hey, so this is what it's going to look like. The Squire artwork is still in progress. They're just finishing it up. So the idea is that you have a free character that everybody's going to get, and when you first load into the mode, you will be assigned a faction to your account, to your wallet, and then you will get this free Squire. And the Squire basically is a character that allows you to claim some Metasource and some banquet coin every 8 hours. We haven't released the official numbers yet, how that works out, but basically there's going to be a pool every day of tokens, or essentially probably within every claiming that you can get that is shared with everybody. So it'll be a certain amount of Metasource, certain amount of banquet coin, and you'll be able to claim that every 8 hours, and it'll go into your account. We're still working out some little details. So everything, so some things might be subject to change, but we feel pretty good about where it's at right now. So you can probably with confidence know that kind of most of what we're saying right now is going to be how it's all going to work out. So banquet coin is a token, so you will be able to trade that with other players. Basically, you can power up your Squire. The theme is that basically he's a Squire at the banquet, and he's serving his knight, and he's very busy. He's delivering things. He's helping his knight out. And I think Josh's original proposal was that he was essentially a Squire to the Baron. I guess I haven't myself kind of settled on which way we should go. I feel like he should kind of be like, you should be able to tell the story of who your Squire knight's for. Is it for Sir Caldor at some point in the future? I don't know. I feel like you can kind of leave that up to your imagination. What do you think, Josh?
However players want to perceive their lore is, of course, fine. We've got pretty rich lore, so you can kind of insert yourself into it however you want. It should be definitely open to some translation there.
Yeah, I like that, because Castles is your story as the player. You're really the hero of this universe, and you're really the main character. It could be the Squire could be serving you, just you. So what the Squire is going to have is basically a power level, and you can power up your Squire, and that will essentially impact the earnings that you're able to acquire from the shared pool. And the way that you power up your Squire is by opening up banquet packs, and banquet packs include 5 different power-ups. You can see them down here. This is, again, just kind of temporary artwork. And they will range from a rarity from abundant to epic. There are 5 different ones. Obviously, the epic ones are more rare. And every 8 hours, you'll be able to open one of these packs for free. Now, there is going to be a base minting cost, because in order to create NFTs on the Wax blockchain, it does cost a certain amount of Wax to do it. And so we want to make sure that this mode doesn't get exploited. Rather, we don't get exploited, and that people just make a billion of these, and we're not actually able to make any money from this. It just costs us, God knows how much money. So instead, you guys will be covering your base mint cost on these packs. We estimate it's probably going to be about 5 to 6. Essentially 0.5 to 0.6 Wax to mint a pack, and it's basically 0.1 Wax per an NFT. You may have it may ask you to mint a pack. We're not exactly sure yet, and that's why we're not sure if it'll be 5 or 6. So once we get that figured out, or 0.5 or 0.6, we'll let you guys know. So you'll also be able to use banquet coins on different things. To start, you will be able to use banquet coin to open another banquet pack. So we don't know if it'll be 100 banquet coin. We'll have to kind of see. I think we still have to work out a couple things about how much banquet coin is distributed amongst the players. But you will be able to use banquet coin on other things. There will be essentially at the end of the season, you'll get permanent rewards. So the idea is a season's going to last about 2 months, and then after those 2 months, you're going to be able to claim permanent rewards from how you participated during the banquet season. And so what these permanent rewards are going to look like are going to be like ingredients for crafting permanent banquet mode or Royal Banquet multipliers, perks, possibly artwork, like, maybe this season you have your squire, and the next season you could have a chef or a maid or different things. Could be, who knows what it could be, your character for those modes, could be additional perks. Maybe there are buildings that allow you to claim a pack, maybe once a day, once a week. There are different things we can do, different permanent rewards we can give you that will essentially give you an edge in the next season. So you'll be able to spend most likely some Metasource and some Banquet coin in order to fully craft out those permanent rewards. So Banquet coin will be used for more than just opening these packs in the future. And we may expand this free-to-play mode later. Banquet coin may interact with the actual Castles main mode, maybe. This is just like the first of this particular mode, and we'll sort of enhance it and build it out more later. So you will also be able to claim, raffle rewards, or rather, we'll be sending out raffle rewards at the end of every season. It will include land packs. It will include hero packs. Some really cool, awesome rewards. And the rewards, basically the amount of points that you get into that raffle is going to be dictated by your power. So you're able to see where you are on the leaderboard, and that will be really cool. And we do understand that botting does happen on games like these. So we're going to do things like make sure that botters don't get the raffle rewards to the best of our ability. I'm not really sure we're going to ban botted accounts, because we do think they provide some value to the ecosystem, mainly for you guys. If you just want to get 20 wines or something, maybe a bot account went out and made a bunch of those from opening from free packs, and you just have to pay whatever it is they're charging for that. It might sound a little weird, but there's a limited amount of things we can do about the bots, but we think that this actually is able to scale very well, even with bots on the Wax blockchain. So we think this is actually still going to be fun either way. Earnings aside, you will still be able to claim and open packs every 8 hours, and we really think it's the combination of the opening of the packs and the claiming that is really fun in this mode, and those permanent rewards. All right, so one thing that I had skipped over that is a really, really big part of this particular mode is factions. So, after you are assigned your faction, you can only consume power-ups that are of your same faction. These are just basically symbols that I found in a program to kind of help me mock this up. But so he is basically, this faction doesn't really have a name right now. We'll probably name ours later. But basically, when you open these packs, there's a chance that you're going to get power-ups that are not of your faction. So what you can do then is you can actually trade these with other people. We think this is going to be a lot of fun. If you get a wine that's of your faction, you're going to be really excited. If you get a wine not of your faction, you're probably not going to be quite as excited, but you can always trade that with another player. And we think this is really cool. We found that players actually do like to trade, and since this mode is essentially free, well then, I think that just kind of makes it even more fun. It doesn't feel like you're really, losing, having big potential losses in value when you have to trade. Yeah, that is pretty much this mode in a nutshell. Anything that I left out or that you want to add, Josh?
I just want to answer a couple of the easy questions that we've been getting while you've been talking about this. So, just a couple of the real easy ones. Can we use more than one character? No, you can't use more than one character. You will only have one squire. What are the 3 factions? Can we choose them, and can they be changed? The 3 factions are, Robert kind of just went over those. So they are 3 random factions. You cannot choose which faction you're in. And you cannot change. Between seasons, when we get to that later, you may not be in the same faction from one season to the next. So we don't need to dwell too much on that just yet. But the point is, you're going to be randomly assigned a faction. Who will receive the squire? Anyone is eligible to get a squire. You come on our website. You go to the banquet page. And if you've never played it before, if it's your very first time, you will see the option to get a squire. And then once you have a squire, the page will instead show, not exactly like this. This is just the mock-up, but it will be something like Robert has displayed here that he's been going over, and you'll play all on that one page. So that should be really nice. I think that was all the really simple ones. Oh, there was one more question. Will the character be listable, tradable? I think I mentioned that already, but you will not be able to trade your squires at all. They'll be given to you for free. They will not be transferable. So that will be yours for the season. And that's pretty much it. So everybody's just got one. They're absolutely free. And your faction is totally random. You can't change it.
All right. So, was there anything else that you wanted to add after my explanation of the mode?
No, I think you did a pretty good job. I'm sure we'll have other questions from users as we go, but this is pretty good. Obviously, the numbers, I've got some pretty good numbers in mind for how much Metasource and Banquet Coin, how those things are going to work out. But we, of course, we consistently reevaluate those things. So we'll make sure that before the system goes live, you'll have all the information for how that's going to work. But just bear with us for maybe another week or so while we go through the numbers and double check them a few times to make sure that they're perfect.
All right. So Vishji says, how was the Expoverse event? It was amazing. I actually took a lot of photos and met a lot of people. If you go to at Castles NFT, our Twitter account, you will actually be able to see just basically a lot of the things that I was doing. Met a Castles player who wanted to remain anonymous, but it was really cool. Actually, there was another guy who stopped me and he looked at the shirt. He was really drunk and we were at a VIP party, but he was like, oh, he's like, where's your talk? And I was like, oh, he's like, you know what this is? He's like, yeah. He's like, I gotta go right now. Probably better. I was like, okay. I didn't see him again, but it was great. It was great. Thank you for asking this, G. See who will see the character NFT. Yeah. So you already answered that one. So yeah, and in terms of being listable, we are talking about doing a thing where you will basically get like a card at the end of the season that is kind of like a trophy card of like your character and how well they did. We want to do that. Whether or not it's tradable, probably not, because we don't want people to think that it's an actual character, that you can actually use it. But we think that maybe you could actually put it on your atomic hub as like a trophy, and things like that. And maybe we could do things with them inside the game, just inside your trophy areas. That would be fun. Let's see. I don't know, Eddie from our Discord. I don't know what he's talking about here.
He's talking about different seasons. Some season will have a squire. Right. He said, make a tavern wench. And actually, the funny thing is, so this is Eddie's always. If you don't know Eddie already, I rhymed. But if you don't know Eddie, this is a long-running joke. But the funny thing about this joke is it's actually very applicable to a banquet mode, right? I mean, the tavern wench would be serving food. So maybe you'll get your wish someday, Eddie. Maybe we'll have the Castles Tavern Wench in banquet mode. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, I'm not sure we probably won't call her a tavern wench,
I
but
don't think we
it'll
will.
be like serving maid or something like that. Good. Serving maid's got to eat some banquet in order to keep going. After free-to-play release, more focus on shifted to free-to-play only, as will be free-to-play, so people think about using more free-to-play than playing the usual castle game. Well, it's supposed to supplement it, right? So, it only, recharges every 8 hours. So it's like, what if you go check your stuff, you want to claim your items, and then, even if you're a very busy person, it really doesn't hurt you to go and claim some packs and charge up your hero. We think it's kind of fun. There are things that we think are really fun about blockchain games. One is the being able to open these packs on wax. It's a lot of fun to see what kind of rarity that you got. And so that was kind of one of the fundamental things that I wanted to see in the mode, was being able to open packs. But the main Castles game is here. It's freaking awesome. And I don't know, when dungeons come out, I don't know how you could play the free-to-play mode and not be extremely interested and want to play the dungeons mode. Once people go in and they start to see how they can get out the character, it's going to be pretty awesome. Eventually, we'll release PvP and stuff in the coming months, and that's just going to amp up the interest in dungeons as well. See, Vichy also says, yeah, but it's free, but Wells will think about buying a bunch of hundreds if possible so they can get more banquet coins. It's very possible. However, this mode, we're going to make sure we're kind of flexible with this mode, because we do want people to be able to play it and have fun, which is really the whole point of this mode. This mode isn't about, play freedom, play this mode, and then everybody gets rich or has equal opportunity to get rich. That's not really what this mode is about. This mode is about having fun. It's about being able to claim something. It's about being able to open packs. Even if people are basically buying packs in a bunch of hundreds, you still get a free pack every 8 hours. You still get that fun of opening that pack, and powering up your character. And if you have been consistently playing the game, well, then most likely, we know how much power that you can get over the course of 2 months if you're playing at a reasonably human rate. You're playing, every once in a while. We know how much a person's going to earn, and we're going to make sure that those people get some permanent rewards. And that is, again, part of the fun. So even if there is, wells or body game, it shouldn't impact your fun unless you're what's the word? You're really envious of other people's progress. In that case, I can't do anything for you. If you're envious that other people do essentially have more than you do, and that gets in the way of your fun, that's a personal problem. But in terms of the actual claiming, the opening of the packs, and getting the permanent rewards, again, you'll be able to get permanent rewards as long as you're a real human being, fairly frequently playing this. You don't have to necessarily dedicate your life to it, or your sleeping, sacrifice your sleeping schedule. Who knows how many claims we'll think is pretty much fair. But I think it's safe to say, even if you were just coming in here close to 1 time a day, you'll probably get some pretty fun permanent rewards. All right. Vichy has another question. So can we have another ImSource use case like we use ImSource to get the packs earlier than the mint time? I haven't thought about that particular use case. I did think about it before. I guess I actually did think about this before, but I think we kind of want to see how it goes first. Maybe we do something like that, but I think it's like one of those things we would keep on the table first, and first just let Banquet Coin be the use case, because there are plenty of other things that we can find, I think, for Metasource to be doing, and possibly this expansion, other expansions. What I like is diversity. So So I think the more diverse things that we can have Metasource be used for is good. Apex, Apex Conquest just came out. It's going to have a use case for M-Source, where you'll be able to buy troops and essentially assault these gates and collect more M-Source as well as other tokens. I was just telling Josh the other day, Apex Conquest is kind of like it seems like to me like a gamified decentralized exchange. It's like you can go ahead and buy a bunch of M-Source troops, but then do you want to go get some brawl tokens from the brawlers? What do they call it? Something brawlers, blockchain brawlers. You want to get some, use your M-Source troops to go get some blockchain brawler tokens. You can do that. So Apex Legends has some interesting use cases. You can check them out. We've been doing some. Was it ApexConquest.io? Is that what the website is?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we think there's just going to be continually more and more use cases for M-Source. Literally, like starting next week, we're going to have the miners released. And the miners, in order to get essentially mine metal from the miners, you're going to have to use lumber from a lumberjack first. And those lumberjacks use 400,000 M-Source tokens to recharge. So already we're starting to see these new use cases for M-Source come out. And so the goal is to continue to, make sure that all of our tokens are used in some way. M-Source is most likely still going to be the most inflationary token, but we do want to continue to add other use cases for it. Let's see. Julian says, will we create faction channels for Discord? Right now, we don't have any competing things going on for the factions. So if we did later, maybe that might make sense, but we don't right now. And if you want to trade items, you can always use the trading channel in our Discord. And remember just to watch out for bad actors inside of trading, because there are people trying to scam other people who trade over the counter instead of through Atomic. Did you want to say something about that, Josh? It looked like you were about to.
Well, no, I mean, you're absolutely correct. I don't necessarily know that we'll have faction channels. It might be fun. So we'll definitely have leaderboards set up for your squires. It may not come with the initial launch, but it'll happen during the course of the season. We've already got the setup for the leaderboard, so we should be able to add in your squire leaderboards, and they can be sorted by faction. So there can be some interesting dynamic there. See which factions, who's the leader of what faction based on the highest squire in that faction, and also maybe comparing the total score of the three factions to each other. Maybe we'll have a little bit of a bonus raffle reward for the top faction. I don't know. That might be a fun idea, and then it would kind of foster just some friendly competition between the different factions. And since you can't choose your faction, it makes it very fair. Everybody has equal odds of getting into any particular faction. So it would be pretty fun. I don't know. We'll see how it turns out.
Warcry Ripen says, do you have systems in place to track new players versus existing castle players? I don't think we need one. Well, I mean, I guess it would be nice to know what players are new. But I really haven't thought about that myself. I'm not sure how useful that could be.
We've talked about that a little tiny bit. Me and Victor have about putting some trackers in place, so it's possible. It's possible we might do that. We can. What we can already do is just based on the smart contracts. When the new contract is live, when you get a squire, we can compare. Are you a new wallet? Have you never played castles before? We can see that. So that will be interesting. Maybe we'll share some data.
Yeah, so will the three faction items have different artwork name or different colored borders per a faction? We don't plan to for now, but like we said before, we do want there to be new characters. Like you can choose your character. Like, do you have a squire or a serving maid or a minstrel, a chef? like, as time goes on, we'll probably add new characters, artwork, kind of some customization options. And those probably won't be faction specific, just because then we're doing like 3 times as much art, and we're not really rolling in money bags just yet as a company. We're doing okay, but we do need to kind of watch our budget, because the dungeons is really costing us a lot of money in terms of the artwork. Those artists are still working, slaving away, and it's still going to take some time to get all of the common to rares done, which I guess we're coming up almost on a week and a half, I think, where they said that they would have the common to rares ready. Once they do that, well, then we're going to start making the templates, and you guys will be able to open your packs. We can't wait for that. When you guys can open your hero packs, and then soon after that, you guys, or at the same time, you guys should be able to then start to customize your heroes for the first time. So also with hero packs, you guys are getting weekly loot airdrops right now. So yeah, the more packs you have, and we have those available on the website, castlesnft.io, if you guys want to get more hero packs and get more loot. More drops, more treasure source you can create for dungeons. It means more monsters and more upgrades for you. See, will there be other characters second season? Yes, we discussed that too. Hero packing next month. Hero unpacking is either going to be the very end of this month or probably beginning of next month.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good estimate. Probably early next month. Let's face it, probably. But that's a lot of templates, so it's going to be a lot of work to get that all figured out. But if we can, it's not an arbitrary thing. If we can get it done this month, we'd like to. It's just it's so many templates to be working through, and not only just inputting all the information, but you do have to do some double checks, because when you're making so many, we have to kind of go back and make sure that there aren't issues or mistakes, things like that. So we don't have to make the same templates over a whole bunch of times because there's hundreds of them. It probably will just take us quite a bit of time. It'll probably be early next month.
See, James Nage says maybe a card at the end of the season if you love a character between 1 to 25. Cooler looking award for 26.50. Start with a plate of eaten bones and empty wines. Yeah, there might be some inventive things we can do. We'll have to look into that. Dungeons mode equal October. October will probably, I think, see at least 2 things. One will be you'll be able to customize your heroes. You'll be able to unpack your hero packs and then start to customize your hero, make them look the way that you want them to look, and you'll also be able to by then upgrade your armor. And then what we'll also have is, I think by October, is the ability to convert your loot NFTs into treasure source. So you'll be able to basically take your the loot, like your gems, your pearl bracelets, your diamonds, your gold bars, and use royal seals to convert that into treasure source. Now, there is going to be we haven't discussed this really with the players, so I guess we're going to discuss this now, the way we're thinking this is going to work. And we're excited for this particular idea because we think that, diversifying conversion is a really great way to add depth to the economy. We think the way that the conversion is going to work is that you'll basically each loot will be worth a certain amount of points, and those points will be able to convert into treasure source. So let's say like a pearl bracelet, theoretically, this isn't a real number, it's just theoretical number, converts at, let's say, 500 treasure source, and then if you want to turn that into treasure source, well, then you can basically select a couple of those, or do like an auto conversion up to, like, say, 3,000 points or something. So it'll basically select as many of your commons as it takes to convert to 3,000 worth of treasure source. And what we think is going to work there is that you'll be able to then convert it probably instantly at basically for a flat earning, or we think you'll actually be able to get a bonus with what we call a merchant. And we haven't really settled yet on how the merchant slots will work. I kind of think that they should be essentially, you should be able to buy like one merchant slot for like maybe 30 days. And then that merchant slot will allow you to convert that treasure source at a bonus. Don't know what the bonus would be. Might be 20%, might be 30%. We'll have to see. But the idea there is then you're going to need some time if you want to make sure that you get the most bang for your conversion. That it's those slots for the merchants are going to take time. So it might take like 3 days or a week or something to convert some of those loot NFTs into treasure source. So this really starts to make it really interesting, because in the global economy, how many people are taking, or essentially not getting the bonus when they convert, how many people are getting the bonus when they convert, and what did it cost them in terms of the merchants, and so this really starts to diversify what it costs for a person to convert things into treasure source. How many times did they make sure they used their merchant slot before it expired? So I like this idea because it really diversifies the essentially the conversion ratios of the loot NFTs into treasure source, and could really make for some interesting economics in terms of like how much treasure source do people need right now versus how much is coming down the pipeline. And just like anything, it's all supply and demand. It's like a chain. It's like, well, do we have what we need right now? If you look at something like the castles, the more diversified our economy is going to get, the more interesting it's going to get in terms of the price of the royal seals, we think. And of course, the goal for us is to get back to $5 on the royal seals, and continue to build the game and continue to market, so that then we have more demand for the royal seals. Because once we hit that cap, our company actually does much better, and the people who have royal courthouses are able to get wax rewards, more wax rewards for those royal courthouse buys. So I know I kind of went down a deep rabbit hole there, but basically it's kind of what I thought I'd give you guys a little bit of a sneak peek into what's probably going to come right after being able to customize your heroes, which is converting into treasure source, because we're going to need treasure source in order to make the monster NFTs and the other use cases that treasure source is going to have. Probably like using them to also upgrade heroes and stuff like that. All right. Whew. It's a lot of sneak peekage I gave there, huh? My Josh.
Oh yeah, it's going to be interesting. There's a lot of development still on there, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. We still need to talk about how that's going to work out. So it's all theoretical, but that sounds pretty cool, right, guys? All right. So Eddie says, I had suggested free-to-play multipliers for holding low-level castles, lands, incentive roping them in. You mean for the banquet mode? Well, then that really favors the people who already are playing the game, and that's really kind of what we're trying to avoid here in the free-to-play mode, which is we're more rewarding the people who consistently play the free-to-play mode specifically, and that's kind of the point there. So which is why we're not allowing Msource right now to buy you the faction packs, because that then does favor people who are already playing the main Castles game or have those assets. Really, I think the free-to-play mode should be fair for the people who might only be able to play the free-to-play mode or choose to play that mode. I live in a very wealthy country, America. It's a very wealthy country, and I think for people who live in this country, I think sometimes we don't realize how wealthy we are. And if you're someone who lives in a much poorer country, we want you to be able to play this mode too. And maybe you can't even afford to claim, to open a lot of packs, but you can at least claim. That's something. And if you're lucky, well, then you can get enough wax together to open packs and stuff. So yeah, just some of my thoughts on that. So is leveling up Squire for leaderboard purposes only, or will it affect reward chances of epics, etc.? Yes, I think the way we've discussed doing it is that your power is going to determine where you are on the leaderboard, and your power also determines your raffle points. So it's kind of both, right? Your power kind of is determining both your raffle points and where what your permanent rewards are going to be, as well as where you are on the leaderboard. You think I'm getting that question right? I think I am, right? Yeah. Let's see. So Crypto AI says, may have missed it. Will the new token be stakeable in Apex Conquest? Not at the moment. We haven't talked about it, but honestly, from what I understand, Josh was, an advisor, designer in I think, what's your actual role? Consulting designer or something like that?
Yeah, help with the design, but there's no Banquet coin is going to be dedicated to its own game mode, right? So there's no intention for it to be used by any other games. If that changes in the future, if somebody, if another game wants to use the token, then they can, but that's not really up to us. So I don't expect it to be. They're already using Msource, so I don't see why this would be included.
Well, I'm open-minded to it, just because from what you were saying about the game mode, is it seems kind of like decentralized decks for like a gamified decentralized decks. So I kind of almost don't know why Apex Conquest just wouldn't invite any coin from anything, as long as they have the scalability for it. But that's a question for Victor over at Apex and their team, really. And see what they want to do. I'm kind of open-minded to it. We'll have to see. Let's see. Do you think about some boosters for new joiners and free-to-play, which help them gather some more raffle tickets? I'm thinking of some boosters. Well, that's kind of like the permanent rewards that you'll be getting season to season. Is actually, they're kind of like boosters, is that what you think he means?
Yeah, so like temporary boosts, right? So one thing that and it was relevant to a question earlier too. I'm just getting assaulted on Discord. Okay, so Eddie talked about holding lands, and you had a good response. We don't want it to be too biased towards our existing players. We don't want to overly reward whales. There is some advantage, because you can get Banquet coin, you can buy it more, so you still have the advantage. But one thing that we have talked about with regard to little like boosts and things like that, would be like at the end of the season, we kind of give you out some rewards that you could use as a small booster in future seasons. So rather than rewarding just like for your first week or little boosts and things, maybe we'll consider something like that. But what we are interested in is these little special small perks that you might get for consistently playing between seasons. So maybe those things will add up over time. It'd be kind of cool. And that is something that we've talked about. You get the reward, but in order to use it as a boost, you have to spend some Banquet coin and some Metasource to turn it into a multiplier, maybe. So it'll be interesting. We'll see how that goes.
And I think you might also mean that new people who are just joining, if they get like a bunch of packs, I think that is basically like an added level of complexity that's unnecessary. So like, let's say that you're in the middle of the season and you just join, you want to do the free to play mode. It seems to me like what we might call like a net zero effect, where we give you a couple boosters to join in the middle of the season, but then that's kind of not fair to the people who had already been playing anyways. And then and when do we do that? I think it kind of doesn't make sense. It just adds like a unnecessary level of complexity to what we're doing. If you want to join it and then you don't want to basically be beat out by all the other people playing right now, you can either buy more boosters or from other players, or you can wait until the next season and then start from zero. Let's see. Victor says, very cool. Thank you, Victor. James Longa says, will there be new burn methods of Msource in dungeons? Well, as of right now, you guys are going to get the miners, which are basically Msource burning for the dungeons mode, because you can use lumber, which costs 400,000 Msource for every 7 recharges to go and use essentially mine metal. And that metal is used to upgrade equipment in dungeons. So already there's a new burn method for Msource with dungeons. Will there be more later? We're still kind of discussing how new Msource is getting created. We like this byproduct thing that we're doing right now with the lands and with the blacksmith guild that is coming out. So we'll have to see. What other Msource burning, like I said before, we always want to create new burn mechanisms for Msource. So those are always going to come out. It's really just kind of a matter of time of planning and then executing those plans. It actually took us a very long time to come up with a free-to-play mode. We were coming up with different ideas back and forth. This mode actually was a combination of Josh and I just kind of throwing a lot of different ideas at the wall. I had ideas that I was passionate about. He had ideas that he was passionate about. And he had this concept of wanting to use a squire in different ways. And I was all about, like, I want to basically have these factions, and I want to have these, and I want to have pack openings. And eventually we just got together in a meeting for like an hour or two, and we just kind of, creatively collaborated on what we thought were the best elements of all those things. And this is what you guys got. So it's a fun process. Let's see. When can we see our source again? I'm not sure what that question means. Oh, use our source again. Rune source. Well, rune source, besides you can use them right now for the hero packs. I think we still have rune source packs available for making the hero packs. But that's a good question. I'm not sure, when can they use start using rune source? I would think it might be when you can start crafting the monster packs. I think that might be it. So it'll come kind of towards the tail end, but you never know. Like we didn't expect to actually, like, the blacksmith guild wasn't planned, and then Josh came up with the idea for the blacksmith guild. And I think Josh, you just kind of realized that there was an opportunity to upgrade equipment, because we didn't have anything for that, and we could introduce a miner, and we could introduce a crafter of the guild in order to facilitate that. So we never know. Like, sometimes this stuff just kind of strikes us.
I want to mention, go down 2 comments from that.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. So I want to talk about this for a second, because I just banned like 6 people in Discord. So really quick, we do giveaways fairly often, right, guys? And we have a lot of bots that come in and hunt giveaways, right? I mean, it is what it is. We do our best to fight them. And sometimes that results in weird things, and sometimes it results in occasionally some of the bots, they end up getting some rewards. We try and avoid it, but it doesn't always work out perfectly. What we won't tolerate, however, is people coming in and stirring up crap. Like, oh, you gave a bot this, you guys are crap. Or, oh, your way of avoiding bots has gotten rid of this person. And you know, people, if you come into our Discord and you give us crap over us giving away stuff for free, we're not going to tolerate that at all. Absolutely zero tolerance. Okay. I won't tolerate it at all. We're giving free stuff. Okay. You're not entitled to free stuff. We gave it away because we like you. That's it. Okay. You're not entitled to it. And if you come into our Discord and you give us crap about the free stuff that we gave away and somehow you didn't win and you think you should have, tough. You stir up crap, you're going to get banned immediately. That's the end of it. So just, I wanted to throw this out there. Don't come into our Discord and stir up crap, especially about when we give away free stuff. That's crazy to me. That's absolutely crazy. We had a bunch of people coming in saying, I should have won. You should have given this to me. No, get out of here. Get out of here. Simple as that.
All right.
So, that's my tirade. That's my tirade. So
or you know, feel the wrath of the ban hammer. So.
Yeah, you will get banned so fast, it's crazy.
All right, so back to G's question.
Back to the fun.
Chapters making everybody pee their pants. So if anyone use multi-counting or botting in giveaways, will their account be banned? And if they are banned, they make new account, do the same thing again and again. This is a great question when it comes to giveaways. You know, there's things we can do, things we can't do. I mean, in terms of the giveaways, it's kind of a mess. Like we just do our best to check and make sure that it only goes to real people. But in terms of like, if we're going to talk about the raffle, again, we can kind of check, you know, what's like, you know, what was the frequency that someone's claiming? Are they sending it to the wallets? You know, I can't say with 100% certainty that we're going to get, you know, essentially get make sure that all of the botters don't qualify for the permanent rewards or the raffle rewards, but we will do our best within the resources that our company has to make sure that goes to real people. And again, this mode is kind of created so that you know, it the unfairness doesn't impact you, like I would say, in terms of like the value of your assets, like in a financial way. You know what I mean? We don't want you going out to buy $100 worth of like, you know, these NFTs and then get screwed because of something. You know, so as long as you're paying whatever the fair market rate was, which we think should just be very close to 0.1, you know, per an NFT. You know, if like, you know, if for some reason we see more than 0.1 or 0.11 or something of these, you know, or, you know, if we see anything ridiculous for these NFTs, I think that would be weird because I don't know how. I mean, I guess we'll just kind of see how it works out. But you know, we're also never probably going to put rewards that are so incentivized that like all the bots want to come here to play this raffle. The rewards will be okay, but probably not worth the time for someone to set up like several thousand bots in order to try to gamify getting all of these. And also there is a base intrinsic cost. I was doing the basic math, and it's close to like $1.40, $1.50, you know, at the current wax value, in order to hit every 8-hour mint of a banquet pack. It would cost about $1.50 in wax tokens every month. I'm sorry, every week, in order to hit each of those. So that's pretty affordable, I think, in terms of, you know, being able to mint these free NFTs. And I think that's, you know, really cheap in terms of, you know, the fun that you get for opening those packs and participating and getting those permanent rewards. Whew. All right. See, James Donegan says, how will you know which banquet items go with which faction? So we'll have the faction written on the card. Yeah, actually, if I go back to this over here, you can see the faction of the heroes right there. And then, whoops, if I go down, you can see the faction is actually going to be listed on the consumable NFTs. And then down here, we have like the extras, right? So you can see what you have for the extras. These are not the final faction graphics, and they're actually going to be in a different place. We actually have a little inset that's going to be on the left next to the rarity, and that is where that symbol is going to go. Oh, it happened just like it's weird. Okay. We're slowly getting to the end of the questions here. Can we see all Castles tokens Apex Conquest? Kind of like what I said before, I'm open-minded. It sounds to me like Apex Conquest is kind of like a gamified, decentralized exchange. Maybe that's something to embrace and just keep adding more tokens, but it's going to be totally up to Victor and his team over at Apex. See, James Nagi says the packs claimed in free-to-play can be traded. Was just thinking if the free-to-play users could sell if they can afford to open. Yeah, absolutely. That's the whole idea, is that you were able to trade these on Atomic Hub, with other players. The packs themselves, we think the packs will be immediately openable, so you won't really be selling the packs. We'll just be selling the individual NFTs, the power-ups. Vish G says, sorry for asking some silly questions. Thanks for clearing all. Oh, we like the questions. It's what we're here for. Like, we'd be depressed if we were here and you didn't have questions for us. See, Pac-Man 6 says, can you speak about the details of the Blacksmith Guild, please? You want to dive into that, Josh? You're a demand when it comes to Blacksmith
Sure.
Guild.
Yeah. So my recommendation, just as a kind of a blanket answer really quick, my recommendation is to check the pinned post in Discord. I believe it's pinned in announcement and community chat. That'll have kind of all the nitty gritty details for you. And you can always reference it later. So that would be my my recommendation there. But I can talk about it a little. It's just, if you want specific numbers and everything, it's in Discord. It's pinned. But anyway, the simple things about it, I guess, is you are going to take metal from the miners. Okay, miners coming up later this week. You're going to take metal that you have from the miners, and you'll also take 3 pieces of equipment from the Dungeons expansion, and you will melt it down and get a random equipment from the next tier up. So what that looks like is, with the low bounty, you will be able to take 16 metal and 3 common pieces of equipment, and you will get 1 uncommon piece of equipment alongside some rune source and a refining steel. Then for the high bounty, you have 3 pieces of uncommon, 32 metal, and 3 of the refining steel in order to get 1 rare piece of equipment. The Blacksmith Guild does not scale infinitely, so that's where it ends. You can't upgrade rare equipment into epic or further, so that won't be possible. It just goes up to rare. And just as kind of an extra point, it's in the post, but you do need the Blacksmith Guild bounties themselves in order to use the Blacksmith Guild. That is what's different from other wonders. Kind of the in-lore reason for this is a very time-intensive process. It's a big deal. And so people who have these Blacksmith Guilds will have this special advantage. And so that's up to you guys. It's certainly not something that anyone needs in order to play. You don't need to do this. You can get your equipment through the packs, or just from playing the game. You'll get equipment in dungeons once it's live. But if you'd like to be able to semi-deterministically upgrade your equipment, this is how you do it. I do expect maybe certain guilds will work together on this. So if it sounds like something, I don't think I can afford Blacksmith Guilds myself, maybe see if you can talk to some of the players that are associated with guilds. Maybe they'll be working together to make as many blacksmith guild and outfit the heroes of their guild members. I wouldn't be too surprised to find that. So definitely I would say look into that option if people are feeling like, this is something that's a little too much for me. I only wanted one hero, but I do want to have all rare equipment on that hero. Maybe talk to some guilds. That's my, I know, NRFB Toy Store and the Colony Guild, they're probably going to have a pretty decent amount of blacksmith guilds. So maybe talk to them.
All right. So Pac-Man 6 says, sorry, I was looking at the one question.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the one. Northside Ragnarok, welcome back. He says, thanks, Josh. And Castles won a pack on Twitter. Congratulations. Hoping for something awesome for you. Fingers crossed in that pack. Professor Dumbledore says, will automation be okay to claim the 8-hour pack? So that's
Dumbledore with the loaded question.
Dumbledore. Yeah, the little question. It's a really great question to ask. What I'll say is that, I do want to allow automation. However, one thing we probably won't allow is if you have like 20 different accounts that are automated and you're swapping all the factions between each other. That's what we're going to avoid. Those particular accounts, we'll probably let them claim, but we won't allow them to get the permanent rewards, because then clearly you're just like, botting things and gaming the system. If you're botting the game, gaming the system, you have like, 10, 20 accounts set up and they're all swapping factions and essentially trying to game the system and exploit it. In that case, we will probably prevent them from getting raffle rewards, and we will prevent them from getting the the seasonal rewards, so that then when they start again, they have to do it all over again and they don't get those permanent multipliers, or they have to buy it from someone else. I am of the feeling that this is a very simple game. It's click, and we've tried to design it so that if you're if you say you want to automate it and have it click the button for you every 8 hours, that does not give you such an unfair advantage against the other players that it's no longer fun, that it's just not fair. So as long as you're playing fairly, and you're not you're not making many accounts, I might even be open to you having 3 accounts if you really want to go through the trouble of making, but the thing is there's going to be a limit where actually you're just completely gaming, exploiting the system, right? So if you're doing something like that, we're not going to be giving you the permanent rewards or the raffle rewards. So within reason, you can. I think you should be okay to automate, but if you're automating to exploit the system, in that case, no. What do you think, Josh?
It's tough. All that we can do against it is blacklist wallets. We can do that from a smart contract. We can blacklist wallets. So I think Robert is right that as long as it's not getting exploited, then we probably won't care that much. It's not, as long as it's being done in a fair way, it's not the biggest deal ever. However, if it gets to a point where we're finding tons and tons of multi-accounting and all this different stuff, then yeah, we're going to start blacklisting wallets like crazy. And we don't want to do that. So play ethically, please. Or we will have to start implementing frustrating CAPTCHAs and blacklisting wallets. And, we have the ability to do these things. We don't want to have to resort to that, but we will if we have to. Just, be aware.
It's just what, yeah. Well, I think we do check the winners' wallets. And there is only so much we can do. Sometimes we only check some of these vaults so much, but I think we do check for the giveaways. Pac-Man says, thank you. You're welcome. Ocean City says, for a newcomer, what's the best way to step in Castle, let's say with a budget of $800-ish? Welcome, Ocean City. Thank you for joining us. The best is basically just get like a castle, a lumberjack, like 2 or 3 carpenters, and that basically gets you into the land game. And you might want another castle, and basically double that at $800 start. You'll be able to make I think just a couple of land packs a week. With that, you can also get a baron. Barons are a great complement to castles because they're a very easy way of getting lands. A baron will drop you land every day. They seem to be really resilient in terms of price on the secondary market right now as well, barons. And the reason is because lands are going to double in price here pretty soon. We're now at 300,000 farms minted, just over 300,000. I think we're at 306 or something like that. And so in another just under 195,000 lands, which will probably happen, I think, in the next 2-ish months, then the cost to create lands is going to double. So to get essentially to any cost to make a land is going to double. It's going to cost twice as much Royal Seals to recharge a baron, twice as many Royal Seals to recharge a castle. That day is coming, pretty quickly here. And same thing with land packs. The cost of land to craft a land pack, the cost of that is going to double. So that's definitely going to make barons more appealing and the price they're currently at. And so that is how the land game is designed to scale up, is that Royal Seals are really abundant right now, and they'll probably be at their most abundant level between now and the end of that, essentially that, 2 months that we're looking at for 500K farms. So in 2 months, Royal Seals are probably going to start to become much more scarce, and the production of castles is going to become much more scarce. And that's going to be really exciting. This game is really a long game. It's a long, it's all about sustainability long term and having the scarcity. But yeah, that's my recommendation for you. Check out getting a castle or 2, maybe a baron. One lumberjack probably per a castle, and 2 to 3 carpenters per a castle. I think that's the best way to jump in at that kind of value point. Rick B says, can you use rare loot if you only have common or uncommon character? No, you cannot. Only a rare character can use. Well, actually, let me go back. Loot is different. We have a terminology of loot is for essentially the like the pearl bracelets, the diamonds, the sapphires and gold bars. That is all what we call loot. But when it comes to gear, like the equipment, your character, a rare character can only equip rare equipment or lower. An uncommon character cannot equip rare equipment or rare gear. So there is a limiter there. If you want to be able to wear like the rare stuff, you need to have a hero that matches that same rarity. So hopefully that is clear. Eddie says, will miner recharge double at the same doubling? Probably, methinks. So the miner doubling, I don't see a reason for that. And the reason is because we don't have the whole thing is that the way that we use scarcity inside of the dungeons is actually the scarcity of the characters and the equipment. So as time goes on, and as you get the rare Lunas, and as you get the rare Luna equipment, and as you get the rare equipment and stuff, as you guys start to loot those over time, we're going to have these checkpoints where that becomes more and more rare. And so what'll happen is that it'll seem to the players that it's going to get harder and harder to get the equipment from those 3 characters, and it's going to be harder and harder to get those 3 characters from loot. And you're going to have more and more of the treasures. I'm sorry, of the loot to convert into treasure source, and that's really the way it's designed. Is that you end up getting more of the loot over time, but the thing that starts to get really hard to get is the characters and their rarities. So I don't necessarily see a reason to have the to double the miner at that point. Yeah, what are your thoughts on that, Josh?
There will be some different things that go along with this. Some things will need to double and some won't. And where exactly they happen, we'll make sure it doesn't. The problem is that it might double dip, right? So land scarcity is essentially doubling because the merging costs are going up quite a bit, right? And if we doubled the cost of the miner, let's just say, right? That would be one way of doing it, right? We could double the cost of, but if we're going to do that, we'd also have to double the cost of the lumberjack, right? So it's lumberjack, then carpenter, then miner, and then all of a sudden, it, because that's a downstream. If we're doubling all of those things, that's kind of more than doubling. Actually, it stacks too much. So we will probably have to adjust along the way. But it may be in this case, like, think of it this way. Instead of the lumberjack, carpenter, and miner doubling, what might double or increase, 50%, maybe it's not exactly double. But like the land pack crafting cost from the Explorers Guild, and maybe the metal cost associated with the Blacksmith Guild, then it's not double. It's not kind of double dipping. And it makes it keeps the mathematics from getting out of whack. We'll see what's necessary as we go. It may not be necessary that we increase that at all, but we'll just kind of see how we go. We don't want it to be overwhelmingly increased. Yeah, and it really is the especially if we doubled, like Eddie's already mentioned again down there. Yeah, if lumberjacks doubled and carpenters doubled, and it becomes mathematically much more than doubling. And it makes it very difficult for the players. And we don't want the game to ever be a burden on the players. A lumberjack recharge that would be 800,000 and 8 royal seals. If we doubled it, that would be a pretty steep cost. So probably that's not the direction we're going to go.
Yeah, and I think we should have different lanes for the economy, right? Like the land is one game, dungeons is a different game, and right now miners only have a use case for dungeoning, and in that case, that puts miners actually in the dungeon lane and not in the land lane. So and so those lanes I think should operate differently. But yeah, that's my thought there. Ocean City says, thank you, Robert. Great job, Joshua. Looking sharp like always. Thank you, Ocean City. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for asking a question. Yeah, so that. And Smeek says, hey, guys, it's Nickman from Discord. How are you guys doing? I'm doing awesome, Smeek. Thank you. Scott back from NFT Expoverse. Oh, crap. I think you sent me a text and you asked me a question. Did I not answer your question? I think I might not have. Let me I think I'll check my phone again after this. I think you might have asked me a question I forgot to answer. Sorry about that, Smeek. Yeah, so what else was I going to say? Oh, Smeek is one of our early supporters here of our game. He bought a lot of our Metasource cards way back in the day, and so he was also getting a lot of Barons from the very beginning. So he is one of the lucky early supporters. We appreciate your support, Smeek. Thank you for joining us and supporting our game, Castles and Metasource games. Well, we have reached the end of the questions right now. So is that it? No more questions, guys? Oh, I do have a question for you guys, actually. I wanted to get people's input on this. Let's, where is that window? All right, so I'm going to share this. All right, so this is the final, close to the final artwork for the power-ups. This is basically what's going to be inside the banquet pack. We just got these back from the artists. So when I was looking at this, whoops, my screen just changed. What happened? Wait, let me go back.
You broke it. Why you do that?
Broke it. I don't know. I don't think I hit anything weird. Let's see. Let's go do this. I do have a question. Stick around for question. Share screen. Go back to what I had. All right, I'll be very careful. I just won't touch my mouse this time. So, this is what they look like. It's the tea, bread, meat, and cake and wine. So when he was sending me these, I was like, well, now the cake looks really cool. And I was like, what do you guys think should be the epic? Should the epic be the wine or the cake? I feel like meta wise, the wine makes sense. It's like after you ate everything, you had your cake, and then you took, you wash it down with a nice gland of Pinot Noir or Merlot or something. Or do you think the cake should be the epic?
That is tough. This is that is a really good question. That's a tough argument. It's definitely between the cake and the wine, right? Definitely. But that cake does look really sweet.
Yeah, it's really colorful. So I was like, oh, now that it's really, I didn't touch a thing and it just changed on me. I swear I wasn't touching a thing and it just was like, whoop.
It hates you. It's like, oh, okay. So
it's like,
man, I like both. I kind of think that I lean towards the cake. I think I lean towards the cake. It's going to be pretty divided, though. We might have to throw up like a poll in Discord or something. Cake versus wine. I never thought we'd be having this like really deep discussion here, but it's a good one. It's legit. Like that cake looks really cool. I think from a totally logic perspective that you might be right about the wine, but it's such a good looking cake. Man, that's tough. And I can see myself again, by the way. I don't know when that happened, but at some point now I can see myself. So I don't know.
Yeah, if I can share it again because not away from me.
It's hiding. The squire looks well. So the squire. Well, that's kind of a good point. The squire is supposedly he's serving the banquet, right? So I don't know. And
well, one of the things like they're like serving, like here's your food, but he's a part of it. Squire's got all kinds of duties at a banquet, is what I think.
Lore, I guess your lore how you want. I was just responding to Professor Dumbledore there. He was saying the squire looks a little young for wine. So
this is medieval fantasy. This is medieval fantasy. Like I think the legal drinking age is probably not what it is here.
I don't know what the legal drinking age is in Castelia. Maybe we're gonna have to explore that in the 3D game. I don't know. Yeah, who says it's wine? Maybe it's just juice.
Yeah. All right. For some reason, my image thing broke, so now I have to go back to something else. But anyways, there we go. So what do you guys think? Cake versus wine. Which one should be the rarest of the banquet pack? I'll go back and see. Eddie says cake is the best. Baby Will says Robert likes wine. I do. I was at an NFT Expo party the other day, and it was at a place called The Reserve, and it was a Saturday night party, and it was a pretty hip place, right? I actually got really packed. It was kind of crazy, but pretty much, just what you'd expect from modern modern hip LA. And I went, I had myself a Pinot Noir, and I had some guy look at me. He's like, "You got wine?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's all like, "Really?" He's just like, "Wow, you must be old or something." Give me that look, I was like, "What? Like, it's Pinot Noir. It's freaking amazing." I don't know. Tequila or something. Debbie says rate cake is the best. Let's see. Jillian says in the past meat was actually reserved for royalty only. I mean, for good meat, yeah. If it wasn't like, everyone else was probably eating like pheasant and rat. Pheasant, squirrel, rat. I mean, if you're gonna get like a pig or something, like it took a lot of time and care to raise a pig. Yeah, gonna sell that off to a rich royal, and then eat the peasant and the and eat the not the peasant. You don't eat the peasant, eat the pheasant and the squirrels and things, because you want them monies from the pig. Probably right there. Not a lot of people talking about Professor Dumbledore says cake. James Curtin says cake for the win. Have your cake and eat it. Yeah, cake. So far, nobody said wine. Actually, nobody said wine.
We'll have to kind of go back and forth on it. My personal order. I put it in Discord so you can see it already, but. I kind of think I would lean towards tea is the lowest, then bread, then meat, then wine, and then cake. That would be my order. Is that objectively the correct order? Probably not. I don't know. That's my subjective order. So that's just my thoughts.
You said you put it in Discord? Where?
It's in the community chat there. It's gotten buried a little bit. A couple people up. Tea, bread, meat, wine, cake. That would be my order.
Oh, I see it now.
Yeah, that would be my order.
Yeah, that's kind of looks like what we're going for. I think that might be it, guys. I think that might be it. We might decide afterwards, but nobody has even voted for wine being the last one. So I think that tea was a luxury in the past. Well, tea is really just like hot water and like something leafy. So a good tea, sure, but I mean, heck, I go down to a little shop over here or a cafe, and they have what they call flowering tea. It is literally just like a bud of flower plopped into hot water. It's great. I love it. Smeek says, congrats on 4K subscribers for the YouTube channel. Thank you, Smeek. Thank you. Bread was common. I think, eventually bread became common, actually. I think bread is an amazing invention.
Bread, there might be some argument for bread to be at the bottom, but I don't know. I would put tea at the bottom too. I would start with tea. But
I think I would go tea just because tea's the least filling. Tea's like, oh, I had some tea. It's like, now I'm hungry. So you'd have your tea and then you'd have your bread. But just sideways conversation, bread is like one of the most amazing inventions in human history, because bread, once you could cook bread, you could actually, it stayed edible for a while. And before then, food really wouldn't stay edible for all that long. I mean, you could cook some meat and try to salt it, but bread was more easily transferable. I mean, transferable and filling. And bread was one of these inventions, just completely changed the world. And I think after bread was basically invented, it just started to rapidly increase the populations, because it was just much easier to feed people, and that made the population able to grow faster. So yeah, guys, bread is like one of the most amazing inventions next to the wheel and fire. Just revolutionized
wisdom humanity. From Robert. Wisdom from Robert. Respect your bread.
Respect your bread. It's exactly what I'm saying.
That's what I got from that.
Yeah. Oh, and while I was at the NFT Expoverse, I met Philip Devine, who is the creator of Crypto Blades, and I thought we got along really well. He was really super cool, down to earth, and kind of like us. He believes in the player ownership and building on top of that. And I thought we really hit it off and had great conversations. And so eventually I want to do like interviews with him and just kind of see what his journey's like, and provide value to both our games and communities. I think that'd be really, really cool. But yeah, I thought I'd share that. It's fun times over at NFT Expoverse. All right. Well, I think we're just about done to the stream. Hour and a half of really cool questions from you guys. People says they like the cake. They like the cake. Any last words, final words, Josh, before we get out of here and get back to all the other stuff we got to do?
I'm just chuckling at the Discord latching onto the respect your bread. We're creating memes, unintentional memes. Good times. I love it.
I'm gonna make a meme of me with a like piece of bread.
That's right.
Bread.
Please, somebody clip a picture of Robert. Hold your hand out. There you go. Hold your hand out, and somebody get a clip art. Slap a little like a loaf of bread in his hand. A big old word art. Respect your bread.
I almost want to make bread the most abundant of the in the pack, just so that when people are like, oh man, I got some bread, we're like, no, respect the bread.
That's true, actually. So it makes sense. Put bread at the bottom, and
you wouldn't be here if it weren't for bread. Your parents never would have met, and your great grandparents never would have been born if it weren't for bread.
Bread saves the day. The hero.
Vishji is asking new merches. I think I heard somebody else maybe have asked that before.
I think it was him earlier. Yeah, we'll see. We've got some. Maybe we'll get some T-shirts with heroes on them and stuff over time. Yeah, we could put something together. I'd like to see some coffee cups, maybe some Castles coffee cups. I drink a lot of coffee. In fact, right this second, I don't have a coffee. And it's making me very sad. So we need to get off the stream so I can go get some coffee.
He needs to
make it through the rest of the day. That's right. I need a banquet pack myself right now. So I ate food not that long ago, so I'm not hungry, but I have a problem. I'm fueled. We talked about this earlier in Discord. Do we sleep? Well, questionable, but we remain fueled by coffee and caffeine and other such beverages. So I'm gonna need some more to get me through the rest of the day.
And before we close up here on the stream, I also want to say, we're gonna have a free-to-play mode, guys. Like, tell your friends, like, have them play Castles. Like, there's no reason, to hide Castles anymore. I know, like,
even I'll even step that up. If you have real friends, not bots. I'm not offering to make 100 accounts for your bots, but bring your friend into Discord. If they aren't even in crypto, like they're not even into crypto very much. And so the Discord, Julian's got you there, but he's killing me. Wow, way to mess with my train of thought, guy. Okay.
That is totally not at all the spirit of what I was saying, but sure, Julian, whatever.
Okay. So back to my train of thought. If you have real, your real friends, they don't do crypto yet, they haven't gotten on Wax, have them come in, have them make a Wax account. I'll even give them the Wax to start their account. I'll pay the 5 Wax account creation fee. I'll cover it. Up to a certain point. Like, I'm not going to do it 100,000 times, but I'll do it for your friends. Like, bring them in. We'll cover their Wax for their account creation, just to help them get started. Like, we want real people to be playing. That's the point. So, we'll definitely do that. We offer that for sure.
Yeah, I know it's been kind of weird in the crypto space lately with all the rug pulls and everything, and people are like, oh, like, do I really want to invite my friends here to wax? But no, now they got a free-to-play game, really awesome with Castles, and if that's just what they want to do is just like get their toes wet, see what it's like to have free-to-play games. Just doing Castles free-to-play mode. It's like basically doesn't cost anything, and it's a lot of fun, and they get to see what it's like to actually own your freaking assets. It's
Yes.
totally revolutionary. And people, more and more people are getting this as time goes on. I still listen to plenty of podcasts and things. And I just an article the other day that was like, oh, well, like blockchain gaming and NFTs, it's like, it's never going to work. It's going to be terrible. And I'm just like, these are the same kind of people who like didn't want to come to America after it was found, the North America after it was found. You're like, no, just stay here in Europe. There are like an indigenous people out there and they'll kill you. Maybe some people did die, right? But the massive opportunity is to cross the frontier.
Yeah, the people who said I don't need internet on my phone.
Right,
I was one of those. I what?
I have
what's
GPS.
funny? I was one of those people when the iPhone first came out. I was like, why would I want that? That like I don't need to check my email that often. What's the point of that? And then, of course, once I had my first one, it was all downhill from there. So,
yeah.
New technology, embrace it. The revolution, player ownership.
The revolution is here, and this is going to be me tooting our own horn, but like we get it in a way that other people don't. Like I mean, I even though I was at NFT Expo, and it was great to hear like the panels and people kind of reiterating like stuff we know that like this ownership of your assets is the future. But mostly what I get when I listen to a lot of other people is they still don't understand how to get a grasp on the economy of these things. And I'm very lucky in that I have a business partner like Josh who is I'm able to bounce ideas off of, and vice versa. We're able to kind of like evaluate, hey, like what do you think of this thing? What do you think of that thing? And with our powers combined, I feel like we really have a perception.
With our powers combined,
we build Metasource games. But I feel like we get it in a way that just most other people don't. And most people operate off of what they already know, and you have to in a lot of cases. And to create something new is really difficult. To kind of think outside the box of how the way things should work, which is why when you look at tokens. A lot of these companies, all the games, a lot of the, just whatever it is, Polygon, it really doesn't matter what kind of token you look at. Any of the top, 100 tokens basically did what stocks do. They give you a little bit of ownership and they divest it over time. And a lot of these games, like even Illuvium is going to have like their founder shares of tokens start to unlock here pretty soon. That is basically just the way the stock market works. And so they built on what they knew. You know what? When it comes to investing in things, let's do what the stock market does. You have shares, and over time it gets divested and stuff like that, and you have more, and you get people buy them. But when it comes to this, what we're doing, having sustainable game where your rewards are essentially become more scarce over time, like it takes something else. It takes this like method of invention and learning, and Josh and I are here on the frontier with you guys, and I think like we get it in a way that most other people just don't get it, because they're still trying to operate off of the old thing. It's like, oh, why don't we just give away lots of stuff with like no scarcity models? And then it's just terrible. I still don't understand. Actually, I use this word scarcity all the time, and I think it means something different to Josh and I than it does to most other blockchain developers and game developers. Like, because what do we mean scarcity? It means like real scarcity, and for them that means scarcity, they think it means, oh, like limited pack numbers and not sell anymore. And it's like, well, that is a form of scarcity, but when you start to add in the creating of tokens, like letting players create NFTs and create their own tokens, you have to take it to a deeper level. And I think we do that much better than anybody else currently in the industry. I think Castles is kind of proven to be the most sustainable blockchain game that is out there, and that is super awesome. So thank you guys for joining us on that journey as we continue to grow and make more even cool, awesome stuff. And I know Vish kept asking this question about the 3D printed barons. He's like, oh, what happened when?
Oh, So those were not 3D printed. Actually, those are handmade. Those are much higher end than that. 3D printed. We've talked about some little 3D print little guys. I have somebody who does do little 3D printed models. We would have to have a 3D model made for the Baron, though. It's 2D art, so there are ways to kind of convert. It's a little bit, it's not perfect, but we'll see. It is a cool idea. I like it. If somebody is really good at converting 2D to 3D and they want to kind of make a rough 3D model for the Baron for us, that would, if you want to volunteer, if you have that skill, then let us know, or and I'll connect with the guy with the printer, and we'll see what happens. But right now we're doing so many things. We've got the miner coming out in a couple of days, Blacksmith Guild towards the end of the month. We've got the free to play sandwiched in the middle, all kinds of different art projects, and consistent little updates to the website. We had the marketplace just come out, little things like that. And there's just not that many hours left in the day for little things like merch and stuff like that. It just, it's pretty difficult. I know I don't have a heck of a lot of extra time, and I know Robert doesn't have a heck of a lot of extra time either. So things like that, we like the idea of it, but I just don't know what the timing will be. But if the community wants it really bad, and we get a couple people volunteer to help us out, we'll facilitate it. And if we get the model made and it looks cool, and then we'll see what we can do. But it's just not something that we can devote extra time and resources to ourselves right now.
All right. And last but not least, we have a crazy week still ahead of us. We have AMA with the Flame team. So Rick Ellis, the creator of Steam, he is going to be joining us. We are a featured collection on their Steam for Web3 platform that is coming pretty soon here. And so they are really awesome people. I was listening to another interview with them, and I really like I essentially like what they're saying about their approach to NFT gaming. A lot of what they care about is the same stuff I care about, like, letting people find good collections, making sure players don't get exploited, ease of use, you know what I mean? So we're going to have that AMA tomorrow. So Josh and I will be back here with them. And then also Thursday is the miner crafting event begins. So you're able to start crafting your miners starting on Thursday, and that will lead into the Blacksmith Guild. This is a limited time event. It's only going to last 2 weeks, and after that, you will not be able to craft any more miners. So you're able to start the race, get your miners, start crafting metal for building for building the Miners Guild
and just in case it hasn't been clear, because I have had one or two people ask me, we are going to still have a raffle for the crafters of the miners. So same as we've done with all of our other limited crafting events. The Mint 1, 2, and 3 of the miners will be in there, and a bunch of other lands, including a Baron and a castle and a bunch of other stuff. You probably already, if you've been a part of the game for a while, you probably know what the rewards are. But yeah, if it's a much smaller amount of crafters, that means each person crafting has a much higher chance of getting some rewards from the raffle. So keep that in mind too. That's definitely coming.
All right. And then there's going to be free to play mode coming out later this month. Pretty close, just before the Blacksmith Guild, actually. And then after that, you guys are going to get your heroes. It's going to be freaking crazy, guys. Crazy freaking month. So thank you guys. Love you guys. Thank you for joining us. Any last words, Josh, before we get back to our really big to-do lists?
Oh man, no, just I guess the last thing is just thank you guys for being an awesome community. And I apologize for my tirade earlier. We get frustrated just like anybody else does. We're not going to stop doing giveaways just because we have some bad actors. just bear with us as we occasionally have to deal with people harassing us for stupid reasons. It happens all the time. You'd be surprised how often people come in and they just harass us for no reason. It's frustrating, but it goes with running a company, running a game. But 99.9% of you guys are fantastic. So that's kind of the big takeaways. There are occasionally backed actors, but the vast majority of you guys are super awesome. And you guys are the motivation that we use to keep building this and keep doing what we're doing. So thank you so much for that. And thank you for joining the stream.
100%. All right. We love you guys. Happy kingdom building. And remember to like and subscribe. And we'll see you guys tomorrow in the next video. All right.